Sometimes, kindness begins with a small choice made on an ordinary day. A choice so simple it could easily be ignored. But every once in a while, that small choice opens a door to a moment that stays with you forever. This is one of those moments. A lost wallet. A quiet decision. And a handwritten note that changed the way one man saw the world and his own heart. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartfelt stories that remind us there's still good in the world, please take a second to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching Kindness Story Hub, where real human moments matter. The wallet was lying face down in the parking lot of a small grocery store just outside Columbus, Ohio. It was early evening, the sky turning that soft blue-gray that comes right before night settles in. People were coming and going, carts rattling, car doors opening and closing, everyone wrapped up in their own routines. Mark Davis almost didn't see it. He was 42, tired from a long shift at the warehouse, and thinking about what to make for dinner when something dark on the pavement caught his eye. At first, he thought it was trash. But when he bent down, he realized it was a leather wallet, worn at the edges, the kind that had clearly been carried for years. Mark stood there for a moment, holding it in his hand. He glanced around. No one seemed to be looking for anything. No one was running back across the lot, checking their pockets in panic. He could have turned it in at the store and walked away. He could have left it right where it was. He could have even slipped it into his pocket and told himself someone else would deal with it. Instead, he opened it. Inside were credit cards, an ID, family photos tucked into the clear plastic sleeve. A man about Mark's age stared back at him from the driver's license, with tired eyes and a half-smile. The name read, Thomas Reynolds. There was cash too. Not a huge amount, but enough that Mark felt a knot tighten in his chest. He knew what losing this would mean. Missed bills. Stress. That sinking feeling when you realize your life just got harder. Mark thought of his own past, a time years earlier when he'd been laid off, counting every dollar, praying nothing unexpected would happen. Losing a wallet back then would have been devastating. He snapped the wallet shut. I'll return it, he said quietly to himself, as if making a promise out loud made it more real. Back home, Mark sat at his kitchen table with the wallet in front of him. He considered calling the number on the ID, but it was already late. Instead, he decided he'd drive to the address the next morning. It wasn't far. About 20 minutes away. That night, he slept lightly. The wallet sat on the counter, and for reasons he couldn't quite explain, he kept thinking about the stranger who owned it. Who was Thomas Reynolds? What kind of life did he live? Did he have kids? Was he already tearing his house apart, searching for the wallet? The next morning, Mark got in his car and followed the GPS to a modest neighborhood. Small houses. Neatly trimmed lawns. American flags on a few porches. He parked in front of a pale blue house with white shutters and took a deep breath. When he knocked, it took a few seconds before the door opened. The man from the ID stood there, looking exhausted. His eyes widened when he saw the wallet in Mark's hand. Oh my God, Thomas said. That's mine. Mark smiled and held it out. You dropped it in the grocery store parking lot last night. Thomas took it with both hands, as if afraid it might disappear. He opened it quickly, checking everything. The cash. The cards. The photos. It's all here, he said, his voice shaking. Everything. Mark shrugged. Figured you'd want it back. For a moment, Thomas just stood there, staring at the wallet. Then he laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because the relief was overwhelming. You have no idea what this means, he said. He stepped aside and gestured toward the inside of the house. Please. Come in for a minute. Mark hesitated, then nodded. The house was simple but warm. A couch with a blanket folded neatly over the back. family photos lining the walls. The smell of coffee in the air. Thomas sat down heavily and ran a hand over his face. I lost my wife last year, he said suddenly, as if the words had been waiting to come out. Cancer. It happened fast. Mark didn't know what to say, so he just listened. Since then, Thomas continued, it's been one thing after another. Medical bills. Car trouble. I'm raising my daughter on my own now. Yesterday, when I realized my wallet was gone, I sat in my car and cried. He swallowed hard. I thought, of course. Of course this would happen now. Mark felt something shift inside his chest. Thomas opened the wallet again, more slowly this time. From one of the inner pockets, he pulled out a folded piece of paper. I wrote that last night, he said, looking down at it. After I got home. He unfolded the paper and held it out to Mark. I was so upset. I didn't know what else to do. So I wrote a note. I guess I was hoping. I don't know. That maybe someone kind would find it. Mark took the paper. The handwriting was uneven, rushed. But the words were clear. If you find this wallet and are thinking about keeping it, please know that I'm just a dad trying to get by. This wallet holds the last photo of my wife and the only picture I have of my daughter from her first day of kindergarten. I don't care about the money. I just want my memories back. If you can find it in your heart to return this, thank you. If not, I hope life treats you kindly anyway. Mark felt his throat tighten. He looked up, his eyes burning. I didn't see this last night, he said quietly. Thomas nodded. I tucked it in there after I got home. I figured it was a long shot. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Thomas stood and reached out his hand. Thank you, he said. Not just for the wallet. For reminding me that there are still good people out there. Mark shook his hand, feeling the weight of the moment settle over him. As he walked back to his car, the world felt different. Brighter somehow. Lighter. He realized that returning the wallet hadn't cost him anything. No money. No time that really mattered. But to Thomas, it had meant everything. Weeks later, Mark received a handwritten letter in the mail. Inside was a simple thank you note from Thomas, along with a photo of his daughter smiling on her first day of school. On the back, Thomas had written, because of you, this memory is still with us. Mark kept that photo on his fridge. Whenever life felt heavy, whenever the news made the world seem cold and divided, he looked at it and remembered that kindness doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't need applause or attention. Sometimes, it's just a man bending down in a parking lot, choosing to do the right thing, and sometimes, that choice comes back to remind us who we really are. If this story touched you, let it be a reminder that small acts of kindness can ripple further than we ever imagine. Somewhere out there, someone is hoping for a stranger to choose compassion. Be ye that stranger, and until next time, keep spreading kindness, because the world needs it now more than ever.